I know today there's an active conversation, and there has been for a long time, about the serious financial investments that we need in order to have a real recovery. And I know there's a huge pushback, from some folks who are saying, we've already spent a lot of money, and don't we need to start talking about austerity and deficits? And absolutely not. What we need to talk about is the real dangers in doing too little. And so I think that's what you can expect progressives to push for around extending the unemployment insurance, the paid family leave, domestic manufacturing of the personal protective equipment, state and local government aid, shoring up our childcare workforce, which has been decimated in this pandemic, ensuring healthcare coverage, right? The safety and health standard, and guaranteeing people's paychecks when their employers need to temporarily shut down. That's something that, most industrialized countries did, and we didn't. And we certainly paid the price for it.
The lack of a safety net in this environment has been blown wide open for everyone to see. And for people in Europe who think the United States is very advanced and would have some sort of safety nets, is now understanding we don't. And if you watched your TV and seen lines of Americans miles long getting food from food banks, I'm sure you've been astounded. How could that be in the United States, that there are literally miles of cars lined up to try and get food? And this is our lack of a safety net.
We need to take that uniqueness of the regions of the country into account, but try to help everybody reach some common metrics around, what I would hope he is saying around income inequality, around addressing job creation. These are things that are universal, but tackling them are probably unique in Illinois versus Florida versus Washington State. And so we need to be able to think strategically like that. The Democratic Party in particular needs to continue to work hard to continue to earn the trust of working people and put forward an agenda that puts economic policy, addressing income inequality and inequity in our society first and foremost a priority. And I think some of the things that you're seeing indications of from the incoming Biden-Harris administration are very encouraging in speaking to that. And I would just say in Illinois and throughout the Midwest, one of the issues that I've found myself working both in partnership with the labor movement on, but addressing one of the biggest crises that you noted, Newt, in the beginning of your comments, is addressing the climate crisis.
We have no cross-racial organizations as large as our labor movement, and it's very important in this environment for racial healing that we have a very strong organization and an organizing effort that goes across race. And there are important things that can take place in reengaging the world by having John Kerry reengage us on the environment. It's clear that we're going to have to rewrite a lot of international rules. You cannot reach the Paris Accord goals if trade laws do not explicitly speak to the environment, and they need to speak to labor and labor standards as well.
We also should really think about how we use the power of the purse around federal procurement reform. How do we encourage the dollars that go into companies for federal contracts to be dollars that go to high-road companies that pay good wages and support unionization? And so federal procurement reform, things like, first off, reinstating the Fair Pay Safe Workplaces executive order that Trump stripped, which would stop labor law violators from getting federal contracts. Those are all good places to start.